What I'm saying, though, is that they drop the ball in progressing our game. Nobody plays like Shorty.
I'm going to go on the record and say she's the best female collegiate player ever.
Ever?
I said what I said, ever.
Diana Taurasi?
I said what I said.
No disrespect.
Listen.
All you young girls out there, if you're a point guard, if you're a two guard, if you ain't got something left, right, two-step back, three ball from bomb.
Caitlin Clark isn't just making waves. She's rewriting the rules of women's basketball. Her game has NBA legends talking, rivals fuming, and fans packing arenas like never before. But in the middle of all the noise, one voice has finally broken through, and it's the one nobody could ignore. Michael Jordan, the greatest to ever step on the court, has spoken about Caitlin Clark for the very first time. And what he said isn't just praise, it's a challenge to the entire WNBA. Stay tuned, because when you hear Jordan's exact words, you'll understand why this could change everything for Caitlin, the league, and the future of the game. From the moment Caitlin Clark crossed half court in her first WNBA game, the defenders learned the hard way. She's a threat the second she touches the ball. We've seen great shooters before, but Clark's range isn't just deep. It's absurd. We're talking 26, 28, even 30 feet out, pulling up with no hesitation. It's the kind of fearless long ball that instantly draws comparisons to Steph Curry. And it's not just the distance, it's the consistency. Possession after possession, night after night, she's making shots that most players wouldn't even attempt. That's why veteran pros are shaking their heads in disbelief, and why fans are showing up early just to watch her warm up. For years, deep shooting in the women's game came in flashes. One or two highlights, a rare hot streak. But Clark is delivering it every game, forcing defenses to guard her far beyond the three-point line. That kind of gravity doesn't just open up her own shots, it warps the entire floor, creating space for her teammates and changing the way opponents have to defend. And while the highlight reels make it look easy, the reality is, this style of play is incredibly difficult to sustain. That's why NBA legends are already calling her approach game-changing. Because once you start hitting from that far out, you're not just playing basketball, you're redefining it. But while her range is earning her admiration from some of the game's biggest names, others have gone far beyond compliments, stepping in to defend her against a storm of criticism that no rookie should have to face. If there's one thing you can always count on from Shaquille O'Neal, it's that he's going to speak his mind. And sometimes he'll do it in the most unexpected places. Case in point, sitting across from Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark's loudest on-court rival, on her own podcast. Shaq didn't just compliment Clark, he went all in, praising her game right in front of someone who's been openly critical. It was a mic drop moment that nobody saw coming. Shaq told the story of watching her pull up from deep, thinking there's no way she'd hit it. Then, swish. He said it happened again and again, until even he had to admit, this wasn't luck. It was greatness on display.
That's my point. I think people love Caitlin Clark besides her skills. She's doing stuff we've never seen before. Never seen nobody do that on a consistent basis. In the Final Four, I'm like, damn, and I was a hater because, I'm down. She was like, she's not going to hit that shot, and bam, I'm like, damn.
When he calls you the truth, it's not empty talk. He's played alongside Kobe, battled Jordan, and gone toe-to-toe with the best in history. So when he tells you Caitlin Clark is the real deal, it carries weight that cuts through all the noise. And doing it in front of her most vocal critic, that sent a message louder than any stat line. Even her toughest opponents can't deny what's happening, because game recognizes game. And while Shaq's defense was bold, another legend believes the real test isn't about what's said on a podcast, but about how you respond when the pressure is at its highest. Kevin Garnett has never been one to sugarcoat the truth. In his eyes, if defenders are going out of their way to target you, it's not just because they don't like you, it's because they fear you. And that's exactly how he sees Caitlin Clark's rookie season. KG knows what it's like to have a bullseye on your back. He entered the NBA straight out of high school and instantly had to prove he belonged. To him, the hard fouls, the trash talk, and the constant defensive attention aren't signs of disrespect. They're signs that you've already earned a level of respect most rookies never see. He called it part of the process. In his world, greatness isn't handed to you. It's forged in the heat of competition. If opponents are throwing everything at you, it means they recognize you're worth the effort. Garnett's advice to Caitlin? Don't just endure it, embrace it. Let it sharpen your game and harden your mindset.
I'm watching Shorty, Caitlin Clark go through. Guess what? When you're it, when you got the bullseye on your back, when you it, it's gonna come with some shit. Yeah, it's a compliment. Yeah, you fit. It's a sign of respect when start doing this bull. What she is going through, that's the WNBA. The WNBA is physical. We're starting to see that. But until anybody get a long ball, shut up. Ain't nobody. She's transcending the game. Nobody games looks like hers.
And coming from a guy who built a Hall of Fame career on intensity and mental toughness, that's not just advice. It's a blueprint. But while KG frames the adversity as a sign of respect, another voice is calling out the league itself for failing to seize the moment Caitlyn's stardom created. Jeff Teague was never the type to chase headlines during his playing days, but in retirement, he's been far more willing to call it exactly how he sees it. And when it comes to Caitlin Clark's arrival in the WNBA, he didn't hold back. Teague's take was blunt. The league played it all wrong. Instead of celebrating their biggest draw in years, he says too many players and even the league itself missed the chance to gas her up and make her the face of the sport. His point was simple. When you have someone who can sell out arenas, break TV ratings, and bring in a brand new wave of fans, you lean into it. You don't push against it. And he didn't sugarcoat the consequences.
But I'm saying, we was talking about this before the show. Like, they played this all wrong, bro.
Terribly, bro.
They was supposed to gas this shit. Y'all hating on the best thing that's gonna happen to the W for a long time. So this is y'all Michael Jordan. How Michael Jordan came to save the league when after Larry and MJ. Like, gassed it up so we would want to watch. But you, she weak. Now we like,
That's
they don't
crazy,
think
bro.
she good. You know what I mean?
Teague believes that letting petty rivalries overshadow Clark's debut hurt the WNBA financially and stunted its momentum at a time when the spotlight was finally bright. His delivery was raw, but his logic was hard to argue with. Hating on the biggest star in your league doesn't just hurt her, it hurts everyone. From a former all-star who's seen firsthand how stars can lift a franchise, that's more than just an opinion, it's a warning. And from raw honesty to a master of reading the game on and off the court, one Hall of Famer sees Caitlyn's rise and the backlash as part of a much bigger business strategy. Isaiah Thomas has seen every angle of the basketball world, from winning championships on the court to making tough calls as a coach and executive. And when it comes to Caitlin Clark, he's not just looking at the game, he's looking at the business. Thomas doesn't deny her talent or the buzz she's created. In fact, he praises the way the media, the WNBA, and even rival players have kept her name front and center. But then he drops the twist. Controversy might not be good for harmony, but it's great for business.
What is your thoughts on this whole Caitlin Clark thing and where women's basketball's at?
I actually love the attention that Caitlin has brought to the WNBA. Since Caitlin has arrived and she had a great college career and she was fantastic to watch, I think it's great what she's done, and I think it's great what the media and the WNBA and marketing and the players are doing, because, controversy is not good, but, controversy sells.
He points out that drama sells, and whether it's fair or not, the constant debates, the on-court clashes, and the never-ending headlines have kept the WNBA in the spotlight like never before. It's a calculated chaos, and Isaiah seems to think the league knows exactly what it's doing. It's a clever observation, but it also hints at something bigger, that the whirlwind around Caitlyn's rookie year isn't just organic, it might be partly manufactured. And if that's true, it means the very system she's dominating could also be setting her up to be the lightning rod for every controversy in the game. Still, not everyone in her own basketball backyard is rushing to protect her. And one Indiana legend thinks this is just the welcome every rookie should expect. Reggie Miller knows what it's like to walk into the fire. 18 seasons with the Pacers, countless playoff battles, and a career built on thriving under pressure have made him one of Indiana's most beloved basketball figures. So when it comes to Caitlin Clark's early struggles, Miller doesn't see anything unusual. To him, this is just the natural order of things. What did you expect was going to happen? He asked. In Miller's mind, the WNBA is the highest level, and every rookie, no matter how hyped, has to earn their stripes. Hard fouls, physical play, and competitive pushback aren't signs of jealousy, he says. They're simply part of the game when you're facing grown women who've been in the league for years. It's a perspective rooted in the old-school NBA, where physicality was a badge of honor. But here's the catch. While Miller frames Caitlyn's welcome as normal rookie adversity, it overlooks the deeper hostility she's facing. This isn't just about testing a newcomer. It's about the unusual intensity and animosity surrounding her rise.
College, when you go to the highest level, it's going to be a learning curve. There's only so many rookies that's ever been successful. My God, what's good? I feel so bad. I feel so bad.
Yeah.
These are grown women. This is the
They're professionals.
They're professional. They're out there trying to embarrass you, right? It's nothing personal, right?
And that's where the debate heats up. Is this really just part of the game? Or is Caitlin being targeted in ways that go beyond basketball tradition? One legendary figure who's seen it all, both on the court and in ownership meetings, believes Caitlin's arrival could mark the start of a new golden era, if she gets the support she needs. Few people understand the power of a superstar rivalry better than Magic Johnson. His battles with Larry Bird didn't just fill arenas, they transformed the NBA into a global phenomenon. So when Magic talks about Caitlin Clark, he's not just talking about her skills. He's talking about her role in shaping the future of the WNBA. As a part owner of the Los Angeles Sparks, Magic has a front-row seat to the league's evolution. He acknowledges that Caitlin, Angel Reese, and other young stars are already making the WNBA better. But he also warns, you can't expect a rookie to fight every battle alone. Her teammates, coaches, and even the league itself have to rally behind her if she's going to thrive under the intense spotlight. Then Magic draws the parallel. When he and Bird entered the NBA, they weren't the best players right away. They grew into it step by step, while the league built narratives around them that captivated fans. In his eyes, Caitlin is at that same starting point, and the WNBA has a rare opportunity to create its own golden era if it handles this moment right. Magic's style has always been classy and diplomatic, but make no mistake, buried in his words is a challenge. Support your stars, or risk wasting a once-in-a-generation chance to elevate the game.
Caitlin is the most popular WNBA player, but she's not the best at this time. Just like Larry and I were not the best when we entered.
You treated as roughly as they have been treated when you were a rookie.
Of course.
You were.
Of course. They're going to be tested by these incredible women who've been in the league for a long time. Caitlin still has to play great to become the best WNBA player.
And while Magic prefers a measured tone, another legend took the exact opposite approach, delivering his thoughts with the same blunt force he used to battle in the paint. Charles Barkley has built an entire second career on saying what everyone else is too cautious to put out there. And when it comes to Caitlin Clark, he didn't tiptoe around his thoughts. He called it exactly how he saw it. Barkley has been one of Clark's most consistent supporters, praising not just her talent, but her rapid improvement during the season. He noted that early on she was playing too slow, maybe a mix of fatigue from her college run and the adjustment to pro pace. But now, he says she's faster, sharper, and more dangerous than ever. Then he went straight at her critics. In typical Barkley fashion, he accused some WNBA players of being petty, pointing out that Caitlin's arrival has brought in private charters, bigger paydays, and national visibility. You should be thanking her, he said, not hating on her. But Barkley didn't stop with the players. He turned his sights on the media, blasting them for messing this up and slandering Clark over personal dislikes instead of celebrating the growth she's brought to the game. For Barkley, it's simple. You don't let ego or grudges get in the way of what's best for the sport.
Cannot have fucked this Caitlin Clark thing up any worse if they tried. This girl is incredible. What she did in college for women's basketball, what she's doing in the WNBA, the number of attention, eyeballs she's brought to college and the pros, and for these women to have this petty jealousness.
And while Barkley's words hit hard, some of the earliest and loudest defenses of Caitlin came from legends whose careers were built long before she even picked up a basketball. Rick Barry isn't the type to mince words, and when he sees something wrong in the game, he calls it out, no matter who's involved. When it came to Caitlin Clark, Barry was crystal clear. The constant cheap shots, hard fouls, and disrespect weren't just unsportsmanlike. They were unacceptable. He didn't just call for better treatment, he demanded it. In Barry's view, anyone committing flagrant plays against her should face real consequences. Big fines and suspensions.
Some of these players, anybody that does something flagrant to this young lady for what she's brought to the game should be suspended and fined big time for doing it.
George Gervin, the Iceman himself, echoed that support, but from a different angle. Gervin's perspective wasn't just about protecting Clark on the court. It was about recognizing the value she's brought to the league. He reminded everyone that since Clark arrived, WNBA players are flying private, getting more media exposure, and enjoying perks they didn't have before. And, in his words, they weren't doing that before she came. Gervin went even further, comparing Caitlyn's effect on women's basketball to Tiger Woods' impact on golf. A single star bringing in a new wave of fans, money, and attention that changes the sport forever.
Value that she's bringing for all of them. She bringing, they flying private planes now. They on major networks now. They weren't doing that. She remind me of Tiger Woods for golf.
For both Barry and Gervin, this isn't about hype. It's about respect for the tangible, game-changing impact she's already made. But not all veterans have been so straightforward. One former finals MVP has sent mixed signals, questioning her game while still wanting her in the spotlight. Paul Pierce has never been afraid to stir the pot, and his comments about Caitlin Clark have been no exception. Early in the season, Pierce seemed unconvinced, questioning her ability to dominate at the pro level and even drawing backlash with remarks that sparked racial controversy. For many fans, it felt like Pierce was more interested in poking the bear than offering fair analysis. But then came the Olympic roster snub, and Pierce's tune shifted, sort of. He argued that leaving Caitlin off the U.S. team was a mistake, not because she was one of the best players yet, but because she was the most popular, the one who could bring maximum attention to women's basketball on the world stage. Sometimes you have to say, this is bigger than the game, Pierce said.
Yo, Pete, man, what's your view on Shorty getting left off the Olympic team?
I mean, I just thought it was a bad move. Women's game, whether you like it or not, this is an opportunity. Now, when you don't take advantage of that, you drop the ball. So, I mean, that's what I would have did personally. Angel Reese and Caitlin, I would have put both of them on the Olympic team for the simple fact that, but if that had happened, I probably would have watched. 100. I'll catch the highlights here and see that they've been just blown, but like, shit, I'm gonna watch the preliminaries and the pool play and all that if they throw these two on there.
On the surface, it sounded like support. But dig a little deeper, and the implication was clear. Pierce wasn't fully sold on her basketball ability, just her marketability. For someone as competitive and image-conscious as Pierce, it's hard to tell if his remarks were genuine praise or just a way to stay relevant in a conversation dominated by Caitlin Clark. And while Pierce's stance wavered, another legend stepped forward with a message so powerful it would instantly change the tone of the entire debate. For months, fans speculated about what Michael Jordan thought of Caitlin Clark. Would the game's ultimate competitor even bother to weigh in on a rookie in the WNBA? When he finally did, his words cut straight to the point and left no room for doubt. Jordan praised Clark not just for her skills, but for the transformation she's sparked in women's basketball. The WNBA owes her a lot for what she's done for the game, he said, making it clear that her impact is bigger than just her box scores. Coming from someone who redefined what it meant to be a superstar, that's not just a compliment, it's a declaration. But MJ didn't stop there. He called out the officiating, saying the refs have been unfair to Clark and that it's time for the league to step up. In his eyes, the WNBA has a responsibility to protect its most valuable players, not just for their sake, but for the growth and integrity of the sport. Hearing Jordan speak about Caitlin Clark wasn't just validation, it was a moment that felt like a torch being passed. If the greatest player of all time is calling for change, the league can't afford to ignore it. And when the most lethal shooter in NBA history added his voice to the conversation, it confirmed that Caitlin's influence was reaching every corner of the game. When people call Caitlin Clark the female Steph Curry, it can sound like an overused label, until you hear what Steph himself says. He studied her game closely, and what catches his eye isn't just her deep shooting range or lightning-quick release. It's the way she blends that skill with leadership, creativity, and the ability to light up an arena the second she steps on the floor. Steph has been open about how impressed he is by her all-around impact. Her shot is at that level, he said, but if you really watch, her floor game is just as impressive.
I mean, I've been watching from afar and understanding just how much of a power she is out there. Her shooting ability is, it's her superpower, but the rest of her game is as polished as that. And so the cool part is the way that she plays and her range and and the level of difficulty on her shots is obviously a very close comparison to the way that it's must-see TV. And I love what it is done for, women's basketball in terms of when she shows up,
Coming from the player who redefined the value of the three-point shot in the NBA, that's not just a compliment. It's recognition from someone who's built an entire legacy on changing the way basketball is played. And that's the thread running through every opinion, from legends of the past to today's biggest stars. Whether they praise her game, critique her approach, or call for her protection, they're all talking about Caitlin Clark, which leads to the bigger picture. Because when so many of the game's greatest voices are focused on a single player, it's no longer just about her rookie season. It's about the future of the sport itself. From Rick Barry's fiery defense to Shaq's bold podcast moment, from Magic Johnson's strategic vision to Michael Jordan's direct challenge, Caitlin Clark has done something almost unheard of. She's united NBA legends, WNBA icons, and basketball fans from every corner of the sport in one ongoing conversation about her impact. Not every opinion has been flattering. Some veterans have questioned her readiness, others have pushed her to toughen up, and a few have admitted they see her as more of a marketing asset than a proven star. But even her critics can't deny the numbers, the crowds, and the spotlight she's brought with her. What's clear is this: Caitlin Clark's rookie season isn't just another chapter in the WNBA. It's a turning point. The way the league responds, the way her peers treat her, and the way she continues to develop will shape women's basketball for years to come. If this is what she's done in year one, imagine what happens when she's no longer just the rookie. When she's the veteran, the champion, and the one setting the standard. The question now isn't whether she'll change the game. It's just how far she'll take it.